In the last 30 years, the Indian Air Force has lost around 534 aircraft, including fighter jets, trainer planes, helicopters, and transport aircraft. This is a very high number by global military standards and raises serious concerns about safety. These numbers were carefully collected by defense analyst Anchit Gupta, using official answers from the Indian Parliament. Even more heartbreaking, at least 152 IAF pilots have lost their lives during this time. These 152 pilots are only from the last 30 years. Otherwise, over 200 pilots have died in MiG-21 crashes alone. Now the question is, why is this happening? Why is India losing its pilots and aircraft almost every other day? Is India still flying outdated aircraft? Is there a shortage of skilled pilots in the Indian Air Force? Let's try to find out the answers to all these questions with a complete analysis, so make sure to watch this video till the end. Much of the blame lies with the MiG-21, India's longest-serving supersonic fighter, which has carried the grim nickname Flying Coffin for decades. According to Gupta's findings, the worst years fell during the 1990s, when the IAF routinely lost 20 to 30 aircraft annually, the lion's share involving the notoriously unforgiving MiG-21 Bison. Nicknamed the Flying Coffin by generations of pilots, the MiG-21's safety record is among the worst for any combat aircraft still in service today. The MiG-21 is a Soviet fighter jet and was one of the best fighter jets of its time, meaning it was among the top combat aircraft when it was introduced. India inducted the MiG-21 in 1963 and later began producing it under license at Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. India did attempt to extend the MiG-21's relevance by upgrading some airframes to the Bison variant, adding Israeli radars, new missiles, and improved electronic warfare capabilities. But these modern touches could never change the aircraft's fundamental DNA and aging fuselage that has now surpassed 60 years in service. Spares shortages, structural fatigue, and a poor safety envelope only compound the danger for young pilots, many of whom still train on MiG-21s before transitioning to frontline platforms like the Su-30 MKI and Rafale. At present, the IAF is believed to have between 20 and 30 MiG-21 Bisons still operational. According to Wikipedia, since 1970, more than 170 Indian pilots and 40 civilians have been killed in MiG-21 accidents. Thus the unofficial nickname Flying Coffin or Widow Macker. Over half of the 840 aircraft built between 1966 and 1984 were lost to crashes. At least 14 MiG-21s crashed between 2010 and 2013. In addition to this, the aircraft shot down by the Pakistan Air Force are counted separately. India inducted the Jaguar fighter jet in 1979 as a deep strike aircraft, built under license by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Designed for ground attack and nuclear strike missions, the Jaguar is still operational in the Indian Air Force, with around 80 aircraft believed to be in service today. Over the years, the IAF has suffered over 40 Jaguar crashes, resulting in the deaths of at least 20 pilots and several civilian casualties. India first acquired the Mirage 2000 fighter jet from France in 1985, mainly to counter Pakistan's F-16s. Over time, the Indian Air Force inducted around 50 Mirage 2000 aircraft. As of now, around 45 Mirage 2000s are still operational in the IAF. However, since induction, there have been around 14 crashes, which resulted in the deaths of about 10 pilots, and in some cases, civilian casualties as well. The most recent crash occurred in February 2023 during a training flight, where the pilot sadly lost his life. India inducted the Su-30 MKI into the Indian Air Force in 2002 as part of a major deal with Russia, with local production handled by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. India has inducted over 270 Su-30 MKIs, making it the largest operator of this aircraft in the world. As of now, around 260-plus Su-30 MKIs are operational, but the aircraft has also seen several accidents. Since its induction, there have been at least 13 crashes, leading to the deaths of around 10 pilots and injuries to others. In addition to this, the aircraft shot down by the Pakistan Air Force are counted separately. India inducted the MiG-27 in 1985, a Soviet-designed ground attack fighter jet, known for its high-speed, low-level strike capabilities. It was produced under license by HAL in India. At its peak, the Indian Air Force operated over 150 MiG-27s, but the aircraft soon gained a reputation for being unreliable and accident-prone. Over the years, the IAF recorded more than 65 MiG-27 crashes, resulting in the deaths of over 30 pilots and causing multiple civilian casualties. Due to its poor safety record and aging design, the IAF officially retired the MiG-27 from service in December 2019. India inducted the MiG-29 in 1985 from the Soviet Union as a frontline air superiority fighter to counter Pakistan's F-16S. Over time, the Indian Air Force acquired around 65 MiG-29s, many of which were later upgraded to the MiG-29 UPG standard with modern radar, avionics, and weapons. The MiG-29 is still operational, with around 60-plus jets currently in service. Although it's more reliable than the MiG-21 and MiG-27, the MiG-29 has still suffered at least 10 crashes, with several pilot fatalities. India has faced a large number of helicopter crashes over the past few decades, involving various types like the Cheetah, Chetak, Mi-17, ALH Dhruv, and Apache. According to official data, more than 150 military helicopter crashes have taken place since the 1980s across the Army, Air Force, and Navy. One of the most serious incidents occurred in December 2021, when an IAF Mi-17 V5 helicopter crashed in Tamil Nadu, killing Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat, his wife, and 12 others. This tragic accident raised serious questions about safety protocols and flying conditions. The Cheetah and Chetak helicopters, which are very old designs from the 1960s and 70s, have been involved in dozens of crashes, especially in high-altitude areas like Siachen. Many pilots have lost their lives in these challenging flying environments. The Mi-17 series, although widely used for transport and rescue, has also had several crashes due to technical faults and bad weather. Even the indigenous ALH Dhruv, built by HAL, has faced technical issues, leading to multiple crashes, including one in March 2023 in Arunachal Pradesh. In total, these helicopter crashes have resulted in the deaths of over 200 personnel, including senior officers, pilots, and soldiers. Over the decades, India has recorded over 100 civil aviation accidents, with hundreds of lives lost. Many of these were due to bad weather, pilot error, technical failure, or poor airport infrastructure, especially at smaller or tabletop runways. Most of the time, pilot error is found to be the main reason behind Indian aircraft crashes. In the recent passenger plane crash, in which nearly 270 people lost their lives, a Wall Street Journal report also stated that it was due to pilot error. You can read the report online. And it's not true that India is the only country flying old aircraft, which is why these crashes happen. There are many other countries around the world that still operate older fighter jets, but they don't experience crashes as frequently. In India, however, it seems like an aircraft crashes almost every other day, especially in the Indian Air Force. One major reason often pointed out is the lack of proper navigation systems and poor airstrip infrastructure, especially in remote or forward areas. So friends, if India wants to build a better air force, it must pay special attention to its pilots and move towards modern training methods. That's all for today's update. Please subscribe and like this video.